Nature, in its generosity, offers its best every single day. From nature comes resilience and the strength that gave rise to a love that moves a couple. Together, they brought something to life in the Serra do Mar of Paraná, a protected, untouched stretch of forest. This is a private natural heritage reserve, the RPPN, Observatório Ornitológico Nascentes do Iguaçu.
We first discovered this place around 1993 when we decided to build a leisure home here. My wife and I would come often just to observe the nature.
This small corner of preserved Atlantic forest is watched over by Carlos and Elisabeth, a couple who witness every single day nature in its full splendor.
We were deeply captivated by this place, especially by the abundance of natural springs and the incredible diversity of birds and mammals. As we walked, they would reveal themselves to us, and that feeling kept growing until we invested our retirement savings to bring this project to life.
Located in Recreio da Serra in Piraquara, within the Curitiba metropolitan region. To the east, it connects with Serra da Baitaca State Park. To the west, it borders a preserved stretch of Araucaria forest, making the observatory a transition zone between ecosystems and a refuge for countless bird species.
The Atlantic forest here is uniquely rich, and that was one of the reasons we chose this place. We even have a primary forest here to the east of the observatory headquarters, with massive trees so large that it takes 2 or 3 people to embrace them.
The reserve lies within the Serra do Mar mountain range at 1,150 meters above sea level.
This entire region is marked by an abundance of springs. So it's in a strategic area for water security in Curitiba and beyond.
In the valley, between trees and rocks, crystal clear mineral water emerges.
What stood out to us was the sheer number of springs. Even high up in the mountains, they form streams, little streams that flow down and feed the rising river, small waterfalls, water pure enough to be drunk straight from the source.
Here, we collect water directly at the observatory.
It's classified as mineral water, fluoridated with a neutral pH.
It's a perennial spring. Even during the worst droughts that we've already faced here in southern Brazil, in the state of Paraná, it never ran dry. Without water, life cannot exist, not for humans, not for animals, not for biodiversity. A treasure that we have here. This was one of the greatest discoveries we made when acquiring this land.
As it flows westward, this stream gets stronger.
There are dozens of springs that form in this valley and flow out toward Curitiba to then form one of the natural wonders of the world, which are the Iguaçu Falls.
Water this pure, untouched by pollution, is priceless.
And it's ideal for drinking. Universal, the best water there is. Nothing compares.
Since 2010, we had already been thinking, if everyone buys a small plot of land, builds a little house after some time, all of this will be changed. And that's a shame. No one shows up who wants to create a preservation project for that upper area.
Keeping these trees standing, free from urban expansion, became the couple's mission.
Imagine that this region, this place where we are, is a plot of land. For building a house with this kind of topography, with these springs flowing, these very ancient tree ferns.
The Recreio da Serra condominium was created in the late 1970s. Areas of this forest region were subdivided, parceled out, and sold into small rural plots with a minimum size of 5,000 square meters, half a hectare.
We began the process of acquiring the areas, first by reaching out to the notary offices and to the city hall, who the owners of those forest areas were. Once that was discovered, we went after them. We got in touch with the people, given that most of these areas here already had restrictions on construction, but not all of them. And then we realized that it was possible to acquire a group of individual properties to protect biodiversity and the scenic beauty of the area.
Over 15 years, the couple acquired contiguous properties, forming approximately 150,000 square meters of native forest. In July 2022, the dream was fulfilled.
After we consolidated the acquisition of 18 properties, and once we understood that 14 hectares would be reasonable, we moved forward to a conversation with the yacht, when then assessed the possibility of creating a state-level RPPN.
After a long period of negotiations and bureaucracy, the properties were legally consolidated and became a private reserve of natural heritage. The RPPN, Observatório Ornitológico Nascentes do Iguaçu.
RPPN is an area designated for the preservation of natural resources on a permanent basis. This area does not allow any human intervention.
After the areas had been acquired, my husband had a dream. It became quite clear to him that we would create it here, an ornithological observatory. Even the logo appeared in his dream.
The reserve is a bird sanctuary. They can be admired before the eyes of visitors, just a few meters away. In the 15 years of the project, approximately 260 species have been seen or heard around here.
So we have two well-defined biomes. 1/3 of the observatory is covered by araucaria tree in the lower part, and 2/3 with a large forest with a slight mix of cloud forest, high mountain forest. We have the bird life associated with the araucaria forest and the bird life associated with the Atlantic forest.
An ornithological study indicated that more than 400 species can live in this region. Some of them recorded for the first time, like the black and white hawk eagle and the blue-naped Chlorophonia, endangered species.
We have many birds here, immense wealth, including a type of tanager that only lives in that altitude, and that motivated us to make it our mascot, which is the Saíra lagarta. She's very beautiful, she appears in flocks, and it delights everyone who comes to see it.
Another survey on reptiles became a scientific publication. The reserve has infrastructure to receive visitors, birdwatchers, and other animal species, some which only live in that region of the Atlantic forest.
That's one of the points where our trail cameras record the passage of pumas. This camera trap trail camera we use to monitor the mammal fauna, especially in the reserve. And we have already observed a good frequency of bush dogs, the graxaim, small wild cat, the jaguarandi, and irara. These are the main carnivores that we have observed here in the reserve, but also some ground birds like the tinamu and also the macuco, jacu, and other birds, in addition to rodents and herbivores such as the brocket deer, the paca, the agouti. This is ongoing work that is done at the RPPN.
The main attraction is this canopy tower. Constructed from pressure-treated wood, it is 13 meters tall. Built in the middle of the forest, it provides the observer with a privileged view above the treetops.
The tower provides us with wonderful spectacles. To watch the sunset, the moon rise on a very clear days, on cloudless days, and even on set of fog. It's a beautiful spectacle.
For a more immersive experience, the trails lead to the top of the Serra do Mar mountain range at an altitude of 1,230 meters and reveal the majestic Marumbi complex in the Ipiranga River Valley. Two other trails lead to a forest of giant tree ferns and a source of mineral water on the Iguaçu River. All this less than 1 hour away from the capital of Paraná.
Probably if we hadn't acquired these areas, we'd have leisure homes here today, with all the impact that this has on the environment. Noise, sewage, dog, domestic cat, car noise, music. It was a conscious decision that we needed to preserve this remaining area, still part of the Atlantic forest with araucaria trees.
Carlos and Elisabeth are producers of water, of nature. By preserving this precious portion of the Atlantic forest, they help keep the air clean, the rains frequent, and the water clean.
We wanted to show that the individual is also able to do a nature protection project.
It's a project that can be replicated for individuals or legal entities, organizations who want to support nature conservation in some way, to engage in this process of reversing climate change.
Producing nature is about preserving all this natural wealth for future generations.